Briana Aldridge, joined by the one and only Isaiah Stanback here in beautiful Oxnard in a 74, 76 type of temperatures. And I wish things on the field were as mellow as this weather that we're having. So we got to address the elephant in the room, even though I know it's getting a little bit redundant, but it's their arguably best player, so we got to do it. Micah Parsons.
Oh, they got
a little tension there with the front office, specifically Jerry Jones. He heard from him this Saturday after Micah made his public, put in air quotes, trade request via social media. But what does it mean to you when you're seeing him still showing up here today? You know, he had his jersey on, he's still talking with the guys, but.
Yeah, there's no secret. Micah said it in the past. He loves his money. He wants to take care of his money, so he's not going to be the guy that's doing a holdout. He's pretty much doing a hold in. But the one thing that you can't say about him is that he's not being engaged, that he's not participating, that he's not present. These are all things that he's making sure that they cannot go out there and negatively say about him to the media. So he's doing what's asked of him at this point in time, everything outside of just participating in practices. But this is all negotiating tactics. You know, they're going back and forth. You hear Double J, you know, Mr. Jones say, this is business. This is business. This stuff isn't personal, even though it might come across that way to the outside. It's all about business.
When Jerry spoke, he was very calm and poised in himself. It reminded me a lot of this time last year when the CD comments, you know, the no urgency. He was pretty confident it was going to get done, and he kind of had that same sentiment. But like you said, Micah's he's a little upset and he wants his money. But the idea of him even being traded, it seems like Jerry Jones would never let that happen, and it just doesn't, there's nothing that makes sense. I know there's crazy scenarios that I've seen online, but I think the people need to hear it from you.
I'm pretty sure there's some crazy offers that are coming through the Jones family right now, but the reality is, you know, a once-in-a-lifetime talent like Micah Parsons, he's not going anywhere. Once you have somebody like that under contract, which he is, under contract for another year, and the Cowboys still have 2 additional years that they can really, if they wanted to be those people, franchise tag him for consecutive back-to-back years. So really, 1 year under contract, 2 years franchise tagging, you know, he's not going anywhere. This deal will get worked out. You know, for the people that are out there, I asked them, name a time where you had a player who's as dominant as Micah or even remotely close to it as a Cowboy in their organization, and he didn't get taken care of. They always get taken care of. It just doesn't necessarily always happen on our time or the time of the player.
This is Jerry Jones's pace. This is his team, so yes. But with Mike on the sidelines, there's obviously people get more opportunities. They're stepping in. Who in that group with Micah out, who have you seen kind of like, okay, like it's not a, there's no Micah Parsons obviously, but who have you seen that's kind of stepped up?
No, that room actually has gotten relatively deep. I mean, they brought back Dante Fowler Jr., who was obviously here a couple years ago with Dan Quinn. He left to go be with Dan Quinn in Washington. Just followed that up by having 10.5 sacks last year, so they brought him back. He's now rocking number 13. You have Sam Williams, who's coming off of an injury obviously last year. He looks really good. Marshawn Nealon, who's a young talent who's also doing his thing. And then obviously this year's second-round pick, Donovan Ezeraku, who's going out there and he looks nasty. So you talk about a room that has just flipped on its head in terms of depth and talent at that position, is giving the new defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, a lot of guys that they can roll around.
It sounds like, I feel like Ezeraku's been a name I keep hearing over and over again. Excited to see what he does when you bring another team. I know sometimes I feel like when you're going against your team, you start to learn their habits. It gets a little bit redundant, but like Brian Schottenheimer says, he wants to see what some of these, especially these younger guys, do when you bring somebody else in. So how hyped are you to see the Rams come in here, and what are you looking forward to the most?
I love joint practices. I love, as a former player, I love joint practices. Not simply because you get to hit somebody else, not simply because there's probably going to be a little scuffle going on, but the fact that you get different looks to everything that you just said. For defense, you're now seeing different concepts from the offense. You're seeing different schemes, different route combinations. You're going against different talent. You got Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams coming in. So you got some guys that can go out there and get the rock. You Kyron Williams at the running back position. On the defensive side of things, for them, they have some dudes that are going to test the offensive line. They got Ernest Young and they have Jared Verse. Those are 2 of the best duos in the league in terms of defensive end pressure. And these guys are really just going to present you opportunity to see how your guys truly are against, for really the only time that you'll get all camp against a team outside of your own competition, to give you an idea of what your team's going to look like when the regular season comes up. It's the only time that your first teamers and second teamers are really going to get a true look as to where they're at. So this is a nice little mile marker.
And then really on the offensive side, I'm kind of excited because I don't think this team has been considered a run-first offense in a very, very long time. And it's crazy to say out loud, even with Pickens coming to this team. Obviously, there's Tolbert, but then there's guys like Mingo, Holden, also in the conversation. But what have you noticed that's different with this running back group? Like, we heard from Javonte Williams today, but even like seeing them doing drills with just strictly pass catching, I'm like, this is kind of fun.
No, it's going to be really exciting. And I know a lot of people are so used to, or they want to hear a big name. They want to hear that one guy, a Derrick Henry, a Saquon, you know, a Josh Jacobs. They want to hear that one guy. There's only about 5 guys like that in this entire league. So there's 27 teams out there that are really doing this thing by committee. And I know people hate hearing that, but the reality is the Dallas Cowboys have a solid and a deep backfield. These guys have Miles Sanders. You got Javonte Williams. Obviously, Deuce Vaughn's in there. He's injured right now, but he'll be in the mix. Jaden Blue that they just brought in. Phil Maffa that they drafted as well. So you have some guys that they all complement each other in terms of big backs that get downhill, fall for 4 or 5 yards, keep the chains moving type of guys. And then you have your splash players like Jaden Blue that you brought in, and Kavontae Turpin's been getting work back there as well.
I'm gonna throw you off just a little bit, not too much, it's you, but offense or defense could be whoever you think, but who is somebody that you think maybe right now is not getting the love and the looks that he deserves, that basically might be a camp surprise?
A camp surprise.
Offense or defense? No limits here.
Let's go offensively. I think that Trayshawn Holden's having a really good camp. He's down there on the depth chart, obviously, at the receiver position, in a room that got a lot deeper, obviously, by bringing in Pickens. I think he'll have his opportunities to show what he's capable of. And then on the defensive side, I think Marshawn Nealon's going to have an opportunity to really show what he's capable of. We've seen splashes of him. We've seen him at the DM position. He's playing a little bit of inside as well. But I think he's going to have an opportunity to really create a little bit of havoc in the preseason and remind people what he's capable of doing.
All right, Holden would have been my favorite. So excited to see what these guys do when they get to hit people that are not in a Dallas Cowboys jersey. So that's what we're looking forward for this week. That's it for now. For Briana, Aldridge, for Isaiah Stanback.